All right, it's 11:30, and we'll get started. Just making sure again, Laura, everybody, you can hear me and everything's good.
Yes, everything is good on my end.
Okay, good deal. Uh, well, first off, thank you guys for attending. We're doing a small little press conference just to announce some of the protective measures that the county's taking in advance of a hurricane or tropical storm now, Zeta, which is anticipated to build back into a hurricane as it's already entering the Gulf. And before it makes landfall again, they're anticipating it to build to a hurricane once again. So, because of the peculiar track and the some of the unknowns associated with this storm, the county is going to lean a little more forward than usual than what we would do. And this morning, as of this morning at 8 a.m., we did execute a local state of emergency, and that's just so that we can do any protective measures that we deem necessary prepare for an impact from Hurricane Zeta or Tropical Storm Zeta. So we want to make sure that we have everything in place, the I's dotted and the T's crossed. We just met with Mobile Weather. Uh, One good thing associated with this storm is it is going to be a fast mover. Having said that, it being a fast mover, we're not going to see the rain values we saw during Sally. So it's not going to linger around. It's going to kind of hit the coast and then get out of here pretty quick within a 10-hour window. So we are anticipating landfall. Mobile Weather was, we just, as I said, get off the conference call with Mobile Weather. We're looking at landfall somewhere around Louisiana, the Grand Isle area, or not the Grand Isle area, but somewhere around the southern part of Louisiana, and coming into the Louisiana, Mississippi state lines. Once it does that, it's going to make a hard northeast turn, which is going to kind of put it right over us, the outer wind fields, the tropical storm force wind fields. So we are going to see a lot of wind out of this storm. So Zeta is going to put a lot of wind on us. We're going to see anywhere we could see up to 70-mile-an-hour sustained winds, and 75 miles an hour is a hurricane, so 5 miles difference doesn't matter. We've already been beaten and battered by Sally. We have a lot of structures out there with tarps on them, a lot of hanging trees, a lot of tops of trees hanging out, low limbs hanging out. So I want everybody to take inventory of what they have around their yard, what they have hanging over their house, and make sure that they have everything as secure as possible with a wind event. As I said, this wind event will be quick. It'll be a fast-moving wind event. We're looking for 2 to 3 inches on the east side of the storm. So we'll see anywhere from 2 to 3 inches of rain. So we don't anticipate a lot of flooding, especially to the Bristol Park area. And I know that those people up there have been battered and bruised by flooding and down toward Perdita Key and those areas. For storm surge values, we're looking for 2 to 4 foot of storm surge. And we'll start seeing those values increase through tomorrow evening and through to tomorrow night. And as I said, we'll start seeing impacts of the storm late Wednesday afternoon and in through tonight, and through Wednesday night, and then early Thursday morning. I've seen several models where the storm's out of here by 3 a.m. I've seen models where the storm's out of here by 6 a.m. And when I say out of here, I'm talking about the wind associated with it and everything. It's supposed to catch the jet stream up there and get out of here at 36 miles an hour. So as I said, this one's not going to meander. It's not going to sit on top of us. It's going to hit the Mississippi, Louisiana Gulf Coast. It's going to come inland and it's going to get picked up and carried off to the east, to the northeast at a rapid pace. So those are positives if you can look at a positive in a storm. We do encourage everybody to take photos of their current state. We've already had one storm, as I said. Sally's already impacted us. We need to differentiate between Sally damage and Zeta damage. So make sure you document your state right now, what you're looking like, what you have in your yard, what your house looks like. Document that. So if you have to do a new claim for Zeta, that you can differentiate the storms to your insurance adjuster, to your insurance. So please make sure you do that. We will be opening a shelter up as precautionary tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. It'll be the Pensacola Bay Center. It will be a special needs shelter co-located with a general population shelter, and it will be a pet-friendly shelter as well. So we will be having that open tomorrow at 8 a.m. We just want to open up early in the morning. That way everybody has, that day tomorrow to get settled in and get where they're going to get. As I said, we're going to start seeing our area winds impact our area starting late Wednesday afternoon. What they're anticipating is as early as 7 p.m. Wednesday afternoon. So be prepared to be hunkered down late. By 5 Wednesday afternoon, you should be at your safe space. You should be secure at your safe space, whether it's a friend, a family member, or at the shelter that we're open up. Now, remember, we do have COVID still. You will be asked to wear a mask, hand sanitizer. So we are doing the social distancing, the temperature checks, and all the precautionary stuff that we're doing for COVID. One last thing I did want to mention with this storm is now we're seeing a potential of increase in tornado threat. So please, and nighttime storms are the worst because it's dark, all the creaking, all the popping, you don't know what's going on outside, you can't see it, and nobody likes a tornado at night, especially. So make sure that you're in a safe enough spot that if we did get tornadoes coming off of it, they have increased the tornado values that we could potentially get off this because it is going to be. We are going to be the east side of it, but also having the the string pick it up is going to blow it more to the east. So that's why we're going to see a lot more wind than we typically would with an impact toward Louisiana and Mississippi. So please make sure you're taking consideration of those things as well. That's my update. I just wanted to bring you guys up to speed on what the storm's doing, what we're looking at as a county. The EOC will activate tomorrow morning at a modified level 2. I won't have everybody in here, but I'll have all the important pieces to respond and get out there and do what they need to do to make sure that we have public safety in place, that everybody's being safe, and that we can do any rescues, anything of that nature. Understanding that once we do hit 40-mile-an-hour sustained wind, our emergency services do hunker down themselves. So please, you really need to take today to prepare. I've seen people yesterday getting fuel, and a lot of people prepare for Delta. Good on you. And you still have your provisions from Delta. So if you still got them, good. If you didn't prepare for Delta and you need to get a couple things, go get them today. You've got time today to go get everything you need. But be by tomorrow afternoon, be at your safe spot. Please be hunkered down and ready to ride the storm out through the night. And as I said, it's a fast mover and it'll be out by Thursday mornings. We do anticipate power outages, not widespread like we saw during Sally. We will have isolated power outages due to the trees and the limbs that we already have damaged and fragile out there. So you have potential for losing power. So anticipate that you might lose power. So get your flashlights, your batteries, and your weather radio or whatever battery power radio you have all that ready to go. So, you guys know what to do now. Get your kits ready. Make sure you're as resilient as you possibly can be. With that, I'll turn it over to questions.
Okay, if anybody has any questions, feel free to type them in the chat. It looks like Randy Wood has his hand raised.
I see that.
Go ahead, Randy, see if that works for you. If not, I can try to unmute you. Let's see.
I can't hear anything, Randy.
Let's see, we cannot hear Randy. I do see a question chatted from Island Times. It says, will any evacuations be ordered?
I'm going to meet with the policymakers and get with Janice on that. We're not ruling anything out at this time. There potentially could be. We just haven't given that yet. So I'm not saying yes or no. I'm going to get with Janice. Just to see Janice is on here, but we'll get with the policymakers and make that determination well before this before this evening. So.
Okay, I do see a question from Jim Little.
Okay.
And it says, any communications with the Supervisor of Elections office on how this will impact early voting sites?
So yes, Jim, I have talked to them yesterday. This storm's gonna be the Hurricane Center and Mobile Weather feel very confident in the track of the storm. They feel very confident with the intensity of what we're going to see in the storm. What varies is the speed of the storm, how fast it hits and gets out. Or, yesterday we was looking at a storm that was going to hit Wednesday, all day Wednesday, and be gone Wednesday night. So I am in communication with them. They are looking at delaying some hours of opening or closing early if need be. And that's the discussion I'll have with those later today, and they'll put that information out. But yes, we are in communication. Thank you, Jim.
Okay. Okay, here's Randy's question. It did pop up. Has Skanska given us any an accounting of where the barges will be safely moored? What is their plan?
Okay, so I don't have Skanska's plan, but I have been in contact with the Coast Guard, and they have a junior officer assigned just to Skanska. And they're supposed to take accountability of all the barges that are in the water that are either moored down, moved, and they've assured me that they are making sure that those things are being done. And at this time, there are 7 barges that are on dry land. I don't think we're going to get storm surge values high enough to lift the barges and move them around, but the Coast Guard is heavily watching Skanska. I will have a Coast Guard representative in the EOC with us. So if I have any problems face to face, I will meet with Coast Guard, but they are watching them, and they do have a junior officer assigned just to Skanska and the barges.
Okay. I'm not seeing any other questions.
Okay.
If anybody has a question, please go to the conversations function on Teams and type in your question. Okay, Studio 850. Any info on ECUA pickup schedules?
I don't have any information on ECUA pickup schedules. No, no, sir, I don't. I'm sorry. I'm sure that tomorrow morning, when we have those operational pieces in this room, and Laura gets the Joint Information Center opened up, schedules and things delayed, I'm sure we'll have a huge press release, if not this afternoon, about what's going to be delayed. I would hope so anyway.
Okay. Well, it doesn't look like there's any more questions. So with that, we will be posting this press conference on our YouTube channel and also posting it on our social media pages. And if anybody has any additional questions, they can always email cmr@myascambia.com.
Okay, and thank you guys very much for getting the word out there and getting this information out to everybody. We want everybody to be as safe as possible, and I appreciate what you do. Thank you.